Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am back on War Thunder and I'm back looking at the Naval CBT. Today I'm going to be doing a relatively quick overview of the new Russian tech tree, just giving a quick look at the general type of vessels that are on the tech tree, where they sit, and then taking a look at one or two vessels from each type to get a general idea of their overall performance. So we're going to start off with the general overview of the tech tree. So if we open it up, you will see first off, you've got the G5 type torpedo boat, which is the reserve vessel for the tech tree. Moving on from that, you do then have the torpedo boat line, which ends with the PR123K. If you go downwards from the G5 though, you do start off with the sub chasers, which start with the OD200, along to the MPK163. You also have the armoured gunboats, which start off tier 2, which starts with the PR191M, moving along to the MBK161, or possibly going down to the PR1204 late. You can also look at some more motor torpedo boats, which start off with the Project 183, and go all the way along to the most expensive vehicle on the Russian tech tree, the hydrofoil torpedo boat PR206M. Jumping down to tier 3, you'll see there is the PR159, a sub chaser, and then that goes along to the Project 7U destroyer, which is the same as the new premium destroyer, the Project 7U, which is the Stroyny. I believe it's the Stroyny is how it's pronounced, but that's the premium destroyer. And then all the way down on tier 4 by itself is the Kranzy Kavkaz 1944, which is a big, heavy destroyer, light cruiser type thing, which is all down by itself in tier 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking a quick look at the G5. I'm not going to go into any huge detail on any of the ships I look at. Quick look at modifications, but nothing in detail there. Just a general look at the stats and a look at how they generally look in terms of the design. So this is actually a motor torpedo boat. It looks very much like a small submarine in my opinion. But what I really like is the speed of this vessel. 57 miles an hour, very good speed there. 6 crew overall, 6-person crew. And it is a 1.0 rating because it is reserve. 16.3 tons of weight or displacement. As well as the fact that you've got a single 12.7mm machine gun and twin 533mm torpedoes on the back. Armour, this ship does have armour. You've actually got 5mm bulletproof glass where the bridge is. And if we go on to X-ray, you'll see it's the standard stuff for ships. You've got the bridge, you've got 2 engines, you've got pumps, torpedoes, steering gear, fuel tanks, ammunition, all that stuff. That's just the basics. If I say it's the basic stuff, that's what I mean. And if we do go on to the modifications, you will see that it's, again, as I would say, the basic stuff. Nothing really special there, apart from the extra rounds for the machine gun. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump along, we're going to pass all this stuff. So you've got another basic torpedo boat, where there's not really much to say. It's got the same 533mm torpedoes, and it's just got double the amount of machine guns. That's the D3 type torpedo boat, which is 1.3 rated. We're going to move all the way down to the next ship is the PR123 BIS. So I'm going to look at the PR123K. Now this is the final torpedo boat on this first tier 1 line. And as you can see, it's got, in terms of X-ray, all the basic stuff yet again. You've got the bridge, you've got the engines, ammunition, fuel tanks, more ammunition, steering gear. Now, what I like about this is it's 2.0 rating, rank 1, 11,000 RP sort of cost. Crew of 7, 52 mile an hour top speed, very quick there. Max speed is something I think is very important in the lower ratings for ships, at least from what I've experienced. You want to try and keep your speed high. That way you can dodge behind islands quickly. You're not a big slow moving target. Turret, you've got a set of twin 14.5mm KPV machine guns, which, you know, they do quite well at damaging other smaller vessels and possibly taking out aircraft as well. And then the torpedoes are, you've got 2 450mm torpedoes. Crew of 7 and a displacement of 22.5 tons and 11,000 RP for the cost. In terms of armour, no armour on the vehicle, and X-ray, as I said, all the basics. Going on to modifications, you will see this can carry 4 BB1 depth charges, so, you know, a little bit of help there to take out the larger vessels you might be facing in-game, so definitely something quite useful there, and extra rounds for the machine gun, featuring IAI rounds and APIT rounds. Other than that, it's all the basic modifications, really. So now we're going to jump down, take a look at the first and the last of the sub-chasers, which is starting off with the OD-200. So this is a 1.7 rated ship, rank 1, 7,900 RP. It has got a single 37mm 70k turret or cannon, and then it has got two single 12.7mm machine guns. Now this does have a crew of 21, maximum speed of 27.6 miles an hour, displacement of 47.5 tons. As you can see, again, all the basics. You've got the turret, you've got the bridge, engines, fuel tanks, steering gear, and the gun. It's all the basic stuff. Armour, a little bit of armour on the two machine gun turrets there, so pretty basic. So pretty good there. Modifications, of course. 12 BB1 depth charges, pretty simple, so interesting, but relatively simple there, and of course extra rounds for the guns. Other than that, it's all the basics. Now I do actually want to quickly look, I believe it was the second of the sub-chasers, the MO4. Now I find this quite interesting because in the modifications, so at first of course it looks quite basic. You have two 45mm 21k cannons. You've got two single 12.7mm machine guns, pretty basic, 22 person crew, 1.7 rating, 26.6 miles an hour, 52 tons of displacement. And it only costs 9,200 RP. There is no armor on the vessel, and in terms of X-ray, it's all pretty basic, although you do have a radio station, which is a bit useful at the lower tiers. If we go on to modifications, though, you will see. So first off, the 8 BB1 depth charges, not a surprise for a sub-chaser. But then you got the 32 M8 rockets. You can fit a rocket launcher to this, which is I'm really excited about because I think that just makes it so much fun at low tier. And the maximum sort of loadout you can have is the 8 BB1 depth charges and the 32 82mm rockets, which I think at lower tier will definitely be quite devastating with those rockets, and the depth charges, which should be quite fun, hopefully. The no armour could lead to some problems, but as you can see here, you can research another shell for the 45mm gun, and you can research some more various shells for the 12.7mm machine guns. But just an interesting ship that I wanted to look at, because those modifications are very interesting, and I think that will be something quite fun to play later on. But anyway, now we're going to skip forward past the BMO, past the MPK PR122, straight onto the MPK 163. Now, as you can see here, what we've got is pretty basic. It's a larger ship compared to the other sub-hunters, other than, of course, the one before it, which is also an MPK, but rank 1, 2.3 rating. You've got a single 85mm 90k cannon at the front, as well as a single 37mm cannon at the back. You then have 3 sets of dual 12.7mm machine guns, and a crew of 60 with a maximum speed of 28.9 miles an hour, which for a ship of this size definitely ain't too bad. Also a displacement of 380 tons, which is quite big. Required RP is 14,000 RP, good to let you know. But for a 2.3 rating, I think this is pretty good. Armour, decent amount of armour. You've got some armour, rolled homogeneous 12mm on the main turret, and then you've got 10mm rolled homogeneous on the machine guns. And of course for X-ray, it is pretty much all the basics. Looks like there's no radio station, which does surprise me for a vessel of this size. But other than the bridge and the guns, it's all the basics. Ammunition, fuel tanks, engines, all that basic stuff. Modifications, I don't think there's much more, presuming there's depth charges. So you can either carry 12 BB1 depth charges and 2 BB1 large depth charges, or you can have 8 RBM depth charges. So pretty basic there, but it is a nice looking vessel, really. Not sure if that flag is post-war or not, but quite interesting nonetheless. And oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Those RBM times 8, they are not depth charges, they're actually mortars. So 8 mortars, which is definitely quite interesting there. And I believe they are mounted on these racks at the front here, either side of the frontal turret. So quite interesting there. Definitely something that could be interesting in battle to perform with. I believe some ships do already have mortars though, so I'm not sure how they perform, but definitely something to look into there. So now what we're going to do, that we've looked at that, is jump down to the, we're not going to look at the first armoured gunboat, we're not going to look at the PR191, what we're going to do is we're going to jump forward, and we're actually not going, we're going to look We are not going to look at the Project 1124s as well, because later on we will be looking at the Project 1124 MLRS. So we're going to skip those two. And we're going to look straight at the PR1204 late variant and the MBK161. So we're going to preview this one first. And here we go. So this is quite a small little vessel, to be honest. Very small little vessel. Looks a bit more modern than the previous vehicles we've looked at. Now, I'm pretty sure that that is a PT-76 turret. I might be wrong, but I think it is. And it has got a 76mm DT-56T cannon. This is a rank 2 3.0 rating. You then have four automatic... 4 30mm automatic grenade launchers, so that's definitely interesting. That sounds a bit powerful there, a bit extreme. So I'm not sure where they are. Can't really see them. Is that them there? Okay, I'm presuming that's these 4 sections. I'm presuming, yeah. Look, so they're the grenade launcher sections there. If you've got an X-ray, does it say that they're there? Yeah, auxiliary caliber turret. So I'm presuming that's that. So you can fire grenades out of them. And then at the rear, you've got a twin 25mm mounting, which is effectively anti-air, but also anti-sort of small ship. Crew of 14, 25.7 mile an hour top speed, and a displacement of 77.7 tons. 61,000 for a 3.0 rated vehicle. Tad expensive, but you know, it depends really. If you got an armour, you'll see that this sort of engine section is protected by 8mm rod homogeneous on the sides and internal bulkheads of 4mm. If we then go and look at the main general turret stuff, everything else really seems to be around 10mm rod homogeneous, apart from the rear turret, which is 4mm, and the top of the frontal sort of PT-76 turret, which is 10mm again. So pretty thin armour on the whole, but there is some armour there, which is definitely quite good. And of course that down there at the back seems to be protecting the engine systems and the fuel tanks and a bit of the ammunition. So all the basics there really. Looks like it's just a bridge, no radio station. Turret at the back, steering gear, fuel tank, pumps, all the basic stuff in general. Going on to modifications, we will see that you can not take anything else. You've got... So the grenade launchers carry VOGs, or VOG, High Explosive Fragmentation Grenade. So pretty interesting there. Looks a bit strange. But yeah, so you can upgrade your shells for the 25mm, upgrade your shells for the 76mm cannon. And other than that, it's all the basic modifications really. So now what I'm going to do is so we are sort of forgetting these early boats. We're going to leave them for now. We're going to leave the MBK PR186 and we're going to go straight onto the MBK 161 1944 variant. So this is again a 3.0 rank 2. Looks pretty basic. It is quite a slow vessel. Maximum speed is 13.4 miles an hour, 61,000 RP yet again, 163 tons. It's crew of 39, and basically you have twin. Basically T-34 turrets with the 76mm F-34 cannons. You have then got two 45mm 21K cannons, which are separate. You also have a single 37mm cannon, and then you have got two single 12.7mm machine guns. Going on to armour, you'll see it's quite heavily armoured. You've got the frontal section, which is 12mm rod homogeneous on the sides and 14 at the front on the internal bulkhead. Either side near the centre, it's 52mm of rod homogeneous, and then it's also, is it 60 on top? No, it's 18 on top, and then you've got 12 on top near the back and 18 on either side. Now, you do also have the rod homogeneous 60mm on the bridge section, 40 on top, and of course the various turrets are 10mm, 12mm, and then the T-34 turret is 45mm with 20mm on top. So very well armoured vessel in general, I'd say. Quite good. Going on to X-ray, you'll see it is again all the basic stuff. Lots of ammunition there, which is hopefully well protected by the armour, and all the various guns that are littered around. Got the engines, transmission, very slow speed though, which could be a big flaw at this rating, to be honest. Going on to modifications, there's no depth charge or anything, just various shell upgrades for your guns and all the other basic upgrades. So next we're going to jump down to the motor torpedo boats, which we're going to take a look at. So we've got the Project 183, which basically just a torpedo boat with 2 torpedo launchers for 533 and a load of depth charges, so pretty basic there. We're going to move straight on to the 2 vessels that I think are the most interesting, the PR-206 and the PR-206M. So these vessels are incredibly similar, but one of them has got a major change. I'm going to look at them both though, because they are both very expensive. So this version is 220,000 RP, 44 mile an hour top speed, 21 person crew and 160 tons of weight. You've got twin 30mm turrets, of which there are 2 of, and then you also have 4 533mm traceless torpedoes, which as you can see are mounted on the deck, and the turrets are also on the deck. Now I believe this is very similar, if not the same, as one of the German vessels in the game. It's probably a license-built version. In terms of armour, there's no armour on the boat at all. X-ray, though, you will see it is again all the basics. You've got some engines. You've got 3 engines by the looks of it. Some fuel tanks, steering gear, props, pumps, ammunition. You've got a bridge. Don't think you do. Yeah, you do. You have a radio station. So you do have a radio station on this vessel. That's quite good. And there's the turrets. Modifications. You can carry 12 BB1 depth charges, which is a bit useful there for facing the larger vessels with a bit more difficult sort of armour to crack through. But there we go. But now the one I'm really excited about is this version, the PR-206M. Main reason being it's a hydrofoil. I really like hydrofoils, and this is one. So as you can see, it's practically identical. The guns are different, but the general shape's pretty much the same. You still have those 4 533mm torpedoes. This is a 4.0 rank 2, of course, but this is 270,000 RP. But then you may notice the rear turret is quite a bit bigger. The rear turret is a twin 57mm automated artillery system. So I'm not sure if that's an automatic gun that will move by itself or if you will have to fire it. And then the frontal turret has had a slight downgrade from 30mm to a twin 25mm, as you can see. And we've seen that on previous boats before. But it is that rear turret that I'm really excited about. As you can see with armour, the only armour on the vessel is 4mm rolled homogeneous on that frontal turret. But going on to X-ray, you should be able to see now, there is a big hydrofoil wing underneath the water. So obviously, there's not one at the back, so the back of the ship isn't going to go up, but the front is, which will dramatically reduce the drag on the vessel, which is not than the non-hydrofoil version. I'm not sure what benefit the hydrofoil actually has, but I suppose torpedoes, it makes it less likely that one will actually hit. But it's quite good. Crew of 25. You've got a decent amount of ammunition for those guns, and of course you have the 4 torpedoes. Displacement of 246 tons and a top speed of 43 miles per hour. Modifications, let's take a look at that. Okay, so you've got no depth charges this time, just different rounds for the 25mm gun, and no different rounds for the 57mm. These are instead, the only rounds you can use are high explosive fragmentation incendiary shell, which are self-destroying, so quite interesting. And other than that, it's all the basic stuff, of course. So now we're going to jump down into rank 3, where we're going to look at all of the vessels in here. I will be looking at the premium vessels a bit later on, once I've finished the main tech tree. As I did say before, though, if you do want me to look at a vessel that I haven't looked at in this video, let me know, and I will see what I can do in the time that I currently have. So we're going to look at the PR-159, which is, I believe, the highest rated and most expensive sub-chaser in the game right now. So we're going to take a look at that. So here it is, pretty cool looking, very much more modern. Not sure, okay, so it's got a big sort of fin underneath, quite interesting there, big fin. But yeah, a lot more modern looking than the other sub-chasers that are back at tier 1. You've got 2 sets of twin 76mm AK-726 automated artillery systems. So you have 2 of them, which one at the back, one at the front. And then you also have a set of 40 torpedoes, which is mounted there behind the bridge section. This has a crew of 98 people, maximum speed of 32 miles per hour, of course rank 3, 3.7 rating. Displacement of 936 tons and a required RP of 220,000 RP. Going to armour, you'll see that The turrets themselves have 5mm of rolled homogeneous, not a huge amount, but that will give you a little bit of added protection. And the bridge, of course, has 15mm of rolled homogeneous. Going to X-ray, though, we will see that here is the bridge. I cannot see a specified radio station yet, so I'm presuming there isn't one. Fuel tanks at the bottom of the ship, pretty basic. Propellers, there are 3 engines by the looks of it. Yep, 3 engines, and then you also seem to have 3 propellers, along with the steering gear, all the basic stuff, to be honest. And then there you got the main caliber turrets. So pretty basic ship there, but it is an interesting design overall. Going into modifications, we'll see that you can carry some extra stuff. First off, you can modify rocket launcher, which will allow you to carry 64 RBU 2500 mortars, 64 of them. That'll be pretty cool for sure. Or you can carry 22 BB1 depth charges, or I believe this one, you can carry the 64 RBU 2500 mortars, which are 7 kilograms each, and then you can also carry the 22 BB1 depth charges, so that's sort of the maximum loadout this ship can take with all that destructive firepower. Although that does cost 1,900 silver lions for taking that out, so you do want to be careful that you're not going to die instantly. But all the basic stuff other than that. So now we're going to jump onto the PR7U, which is very much similar to the standard PR7U premium vehicle, the new variant that was added today alongside the tech tree. I believe they're identical. Actually, no, it looks like the premium one is missing some guns. It's got less guns than the tech tree one. But we'll take a look at the tech tree one, then we'll take a look at the premium one and review that separately. Here we go. So interesting ship, quite long, quite a big vessel in general. So start off, we have got 4 130mm B13 cannons, and then you also have 2 76mm cannons and 7 37mm cannons. In terms of machine guns, you've got 4 single 12.7mm, and then you have 2 sets of twin 12.7s. And you also have a set of 6, you have 2 sets of torpedoes, which have 3 each, so 6 overall torpedoes, and they are 533mm size torpedoes. Crew of 271, maximum speed of 36 miles an hour, displacement 2,500 tons, pretty big there. Required RP 61,000, so not a huge price there. Armour, as you can see, you've got 8mm on these smaller turrets, and then on the main turret it's 13mm of rolled homogeneous. So just some rolled homogeneous on the turrets themselves, nothing else really lying around. And if we do jump into X-ray, you'll see it is the basic usual stuff. You got the bridge, and other than that, it's everything basic. You got the engines, the fuel tanks, ammunition store, turrets, steering gear, transmission, all the basic stuff is there on this vessel, so pretty decent, as well as of course the torpedo tubes. Going to modifications though, you will see that there's no actual extra stuff, no extra depth charges or anything like that. All you have is separate shells for your main guns, and other than that, all the standard modifications such as the fire protection system, tool set, all that sort of stuff. So now we're going to jump down to the top ship on the tech tree, rank 4, 5.3 rated, the, what's it called now, let's see, there we go, the Kranci Kavkaz, I believe that's how you pronounce it, which is a rank 4, 5.3 rated ship. This thing is massive compared to everything else we've just looked at, very big vehicle here, so I'm going to start off with the guns. First off, you have got 4 180mm B1K naval cannons. Then you have got 6 100mm, is that mini Zini naval cannons, which are sets of 2, so effectively 12 of those guns. You then have 2 single 76mm cannons, 2 single 45mm cannons, 10 single 37mm cannons, 2 single 12.7s, and then 2 sets of 4 12.7mm Vickers Mark V machine guns. Now you do then also have, I believe it is 12, yes, so you have 4 sets of 3 here, 2 sets on either side, but overall you have 12 450mm torpedoes, crew of 878, maximum speed of 200, not 200, what am I thinking, 28.6 miles per hour, and a displacement of 9,400 tons, which is pretty extreme. Although the actual RP cost is only 120,000, so it's not that much compared to those tier, I believe it was tier 2 actually, wasn't it? Those tier 2 sort of torpedo boats that were 220 and 270,000, so it is quite a big cost reduction. Now armor, there seems to be quite a lot. You've got a big sort of inner piece there, which is 20 millimeters thick. The side armor all the way along the ship is 25 millimeters. You do then have this sort of cover there, which I don't know what it's surrounding. I'm guessing the engines, which is 20 mil. Turrets are 25. You do then have this section here near the bridge, which is 125. And then the smaller turrets around the vessel sit at 8 millimeters of rolled homogeneous. So quite a bit smaller there. Interesting size. And of course, there's an upper bit of armor. There's 25 there. And there's a 20 bit, which is effectively making up the deck just below the deck. You've got a big armor plating section. Going on to X-ray, though, you'll see again all the basics. So you've got all these many engines here, which are protected by that armor. More engines at the back there. A lot of engines in general. Ammunition storage. You got the bridge up there. What's that there? A turret. Another turret. Is there a radio room? I presume I would think there would be a radio room, but just look how big this thing is compared to those people. This is a massive vessel. Really is very big. But there we go. So that is the Crancy Kavkaz, big vessel. Definitely something interesting. We'll take a quick look at the modifications. As you can see, no actual anti-stuff there. No actual extra stuff like depth charges or missiles. The only thing that is there is the 180mm shells, which you can get a different type of shell for, and the 85mm shells, which you can get a 100mm shell for, which is for anti-air high explosive. But other than that, it's pretty basic modifications. So now we're just going to jump back. I'm going to take a look at the two last vessels that I really want to look at. The Project 1124 MLRS, which will cover the other Project 1124s as well, because the only difference is that the rocket launcher is switched out with another turret. And then also the P7U Stroiny. Is it the Strony? The Stroiny? Yeah, but we'll look at the 1124 first. So I did get this vessel. This is the vessel I got to gain access to the original CBT. And it's pretty basic. So you have first off got 16 132mm M13 rockets, which are mounted here just behind. And that is usually where, on the initial version at least, this T-34 turret is usually mounted there. There's two of them. So yeah, and then at the front, of course, it is the T-34 turret, which is the 76mm F-34 cannon. And then on top of the bridge section, you've got this turret with dual 12.7mm machine guns. In terms of performance, you've got a crew of 20 with a maximum speed of 24.3 miles per hour and a displacement of 33.8 tons. Going on to armour, though, you'll see it has got a bit. You've got the standard 45mm thickness on the turret. The top of the turret is, of course, 15. The top of the deck around the main area is 4mm protection, 8mm around the bridge, and then 10mm around the machine gun turret. Now, you have got along the centre section, you've got armour. The frontal section of that, though, is 14mm, and the rear section is 7mm, with internal bulkheads, which are 4mm of thickness. So that centre section is very well protected, and I'm guessing that's where the engines are. Yeah. So that's where the engines are, the fuel tanks are, the ammunition. So all that stuff's protected, luckily, which is quite good. Lots of ammunition in general. Are they rockets? Okay, looks like they're rockets, actually. So it looks like you might be able to reload the rocket launcher as well, which, if so, is very good, because I did a test drive and they ran out quite quick. But there you go. So good vessel, no longer available. Other than those stuff, it is all the basic stuff inside, fuel tanks, engines, all that. But yeah, not available anymore. Was only available until the beginning of the CBT. Modifications, anything unique? Not really. It's already fitted with the rocket launcher. And you have two types of rounds for that. Missiles are the M13 missiles. And then machine gun, you have the other types of shells as well. And other than that, it's all the basic stuff. So now the final ship we're going to look at is the PR7U. I'm just going to call it the Stroini. I'm just going to call it the Stroini. Probably pronouncing it, probably butchering that name, but you know. But I will say again, if I have not looked at a vessel on the Russian tech tree that you do want me to look at, just comment on this video, and if I have time, I will make a video on it. So we're going to preview that. So I believe this is currently €50, exactly €50. Very nice paint scheme there. I do like the paint scheme. I like the yellow line near the waterline. But yeah, so you've got the 4 130mm B13 mountings. I believe you're missing some 14mm machine guns. I think that's what you're missing on this. But yeah, so then you also have 3 76mm 34K mountings, 6 37mm cannons, and 4 12.7mm cannons that are single cannons. And then, of course, you have that set of the 2 sets of 3, which overall make 6, of course, the 6 533mm torpedoes. Crew of 271 people, maximum speed is 36 miles per hour, and a displacement of 2,500 tons. Now, I do like the looks of this vessel. It looks very nice. I might consider getting it at some point, not anytime soon, possibly when I get paid, possibly next month. I will consider picking this up and doing a video on it for sure, but for now, I don't really see much point. But going on to armour, you'll see again, same as the standard PR7U. You've got the rolled homogeneous 13mm on the turrets, and then on the smaller sort of turrets you have 8mm, but there's no additional armour to that. And it's pretty basic as well, because you just got the engines, all that sort of stuff going down to the ammunition, steering drive, all that. And I don't think there is a radio station, so pretty interesting there. Modifications, of course, just different shell types for each gun, and then you have all the standard modifications. But there we go. So that was a quick overview of the general tech tree for the Russian naval forces. Definitely do comment if you want me to look at any other of the Russian vessels. If you do, I will try and make a video on it. But there we go. So thanks a lot for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like. Maybe even subscribe to the channel. If you do, that would be very much appreciated. There will be a short break as I'm going on holiday tomorrow, actually. So for a week, there will be a short break. But when I get back, I will make any other videos that people requested on different vessels. Hopefully some Soviet naval gameplay. Most likely with the Project 1124 premium version with the rocket launcher, because I do have that. And I'm going to use that to grind out a bit down the tech tree. But yeah, so I'm hopefully going to do that. Of course, as many of you may know, I did do an update video recently saying I'm redesigning the channel, so that's going to be happening over the next few weeks, just a general redesign of everything, really. But yeah, so anyway, thanks again for watching, more naval content coming soon, and I'll see you in the next one.